It's again time for some tax help from the offices of Manjit Singh CPA PC. Here's Mr. Singh with Paula Younghans of Zuckerman Spader LLP.
Good morning and welcome back. This week again we are talking about the voluntary disclosure initiative, which is ending on August 31st. Last week Ms. Younghans gave us a little brief description of the various programs and what the IRS is looking for. Today I'm going to request her to elaborate on how to participate in the program.
Thank you, Mr. Singh. There are a lot of rules, as I mentioned last time, set forth on the IRS's website about what one has to do. But in order to be a participant in this program, an individual has to actually be accepted into it, because not everybody qualifies to participate. The most important thing to keep in mind is that if you are already under criminal investigation by the Internal Revenue Service or the Department of Justice, if you are already under examination, that is an IRS audit, or if you are already, if your name has already been given to the IRS and they are conducting an investigation, which you may not even know about, you do not qualify to participate in this. You also do not qualify to participate if you have illegal source income. So saying that another way, you have to have legal source income, which most people do. But for example, if you had income from earned from running a gambling operation or selling drugs or something like that, that's illegal source income and you can't qualify. In order to find out whether you do qualify, because as I said, the IRS conceivably could have somebody's name and that person wouldn't know it, because the IRS has been spending a lot of energy trying to get names of people with foreign bank accounts from foreign banks and foreign governments. There is a process called pre-clearance where you can submit the individual's name and some basic identifying information to the IRS, and they will say yes or no, this person qualifies. For most people the answer is yes, but until you go through the process you don't know. If you do qualify, then you have to collect a pretty significant quantity of information, which would be the information necessary to do the filings that I talked about in the last segment. That is the amended tax returns and the FBARs. Because the IRS wants not only those completed amended tax returns and FBARs, or amended FBARs, but the IRS wants the information that was used to develop them. So they want all the bank accounts related to the foreign accounts. They want records of transactions in and out. And other kinds of documentation that might be relevant to non-bank account kinds of assets, deeds, for example, or records of acquisition of real estate. And that can sometimes be somewhat burdensome to acquire. And so the sooner one starts on that, the better it is. I should say that sometimes, particularly the further back you go, it's hard to get this stuff. And I think it's fair to say that the IRS will work with people to make some reasonable assumptions if all the records aren't available. But they do expect the person to make a good faith and diligent effort to get as much as possible.
Ms. Younghans, you just mentioned that the reasons to participate in it, if you have illegal source of income. But people who are getting caught in the net are individuals who have worked for international organizations, may have had bank accounts with quote-unquote UBS, or is it UBS, and now they have subpoenaed the records from HSBC,
right.
who do not give out 1099s that individuals were paid interest or information. These individuals who are from affluent positions, retired from international organizations, have filed their own income tax returns overseas, but have not picked up the income in the U.S. Do you foresee that they might be in serious trouble?
Well, it depends how you describe serious trouble. I mean, I think if you mean are they going to be criminally prosecuted, I think the likelihood of that is no, because it's not a very attractive criminal tax case. But they have a serious issue in terms of being compliant with U.S. law, which has all of these requirements. And even though you have reported and paid taxes in another country, you may or may not have paid the right amount of tax in the United States, because a U.S. taxpayer has to report and at least subject to tax his worldwide income.
Yes.
You can get an offsetting credit to the extent you paid taxes in a foreign country, the foreign tax credit, which may or may not eat up the difference for U.S. purposes. I mean, under this program, if you can show that you reported all of your income for U.S. purposes and you paid all of your U.S. tax, and the only thing you overlooked was filing the F-bar, that's not what this disclosure program is aimed at. Those people, the IRS says, should just go ahead and file the F-bars and everything else is fine. But it's not enough to say, well, I reported all the income in India, for example, but I didn't put it on my U.S. tax return. Because if you didn't put it on the U.S. tax return, then you haven't filed a complete and accurate U.S. tax return. And then you should be in the program, or at least should think about being in the program.
So for example, an individual who has filed income tax return in India, paid the taxes in India, did not report the income or the credit in the U.S. income tax return, however, have filed the F-bar reports, should they participate in the program?
Well, that's pretty unlikely, but yeah, I can't say, look, I can't say it's not a one, it is a one-size-fits-all program in the sense that the IRS has devised a one-size-fits-all solution, but the decision of whether to go into it is not one-size-fits-all. And I can't say to anybody, yes, you absolutely belong in, or no, you absolutely don't. I think if all of this has attracted your attention, then you should look into it some more, and you should talk to somebody who can help you make that decision.
Thank you very much, and I think we are running out of time. There's still more information. I will check with Ms. Younghans if she is available to discuss very particular examples. And till next week, this is Manjit.